had this access to this PDP-1. It was actually the first machine that DEC ever shipped. It had 64K of memory, which was really exciting, all hand-wired. It was the size of a very large room. It was made of wood, and you could program it, and there was a little monitor that you could do things on. So I decided that I would create the equivalent of this ladybug on the screen, and so which ended up just being a little blob. There was no color, it was just a half-inch blob that would move around the screen. And then I took the equations that I used to create the circuit board, and I made little nerve cells that could control whether the blob went slow or fast or left or right or whatever it was. And so you would sit there with a little button, and you would watch this blob, and if you wanted it to go fast to the right, you would sort of wait until it went fast to the right, and then you would reinforce it, and if it went slow to the left, you would do nothing. And it was just straightforward operant conditioning, and it did actually work. There were some side things with that. We went to, I guess, around 1978, and I got my first Atari 800. And so I thought, well, what can I do with this? And, I learned Atari Basic, and it was fairly easy to, create a blob that would move around the screen. So then I decided, well, we could make this a bit fancier. Instead of having a blob, we could have frogs. So there were half a dozen frogs on the screen.
Tadpoles, really, right?
No, frogs.
Were they? Okay.
Frogs, yeah. And they could jump, and they could jump long jumps or short jumps, or they could jump left or right or backwards. Or they actually had 28 different of these nerve cells connected to them, and they were just wired up. They could have babies, they could lay eggs, you could train them to lay more eggs, and then there were cells that functioned in tadpoles. And the idea of the game was to get your frogs or tadpoles or whatever it was, the eggs didn't move, over to the left side of the screen, and the other player would try and get the same frogs with this, identical reinforcement pattern, but his timing would be different. He would try and get the frogs to go over the right side of the screen. When all the frogs got over to one side of the screen, then it was declared a win.